The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The Book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered! 12 covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Off and running on a Tuesday, guys. How are you? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. He's Dave Sharapan. I am Matt Perrault. We'll be joined by Trysta Krick today. We'll talk some NBA basketball and what Dave is dubbing Ladies' Day. Tuesdays on the BVB, we may be trying to talk to some content space or media members, and Trysta is someone we've been efforting. We've had her on one time in person, I think.
Yep.
I don't think we've have her ever on the main show. I think we did a remote, right, Dave? We had her on Super Bowl?
Yeah, we were in Arizona and she was there. We were on then, and yes, due to different restrictions, times, conflicts, and all this other stuff, we were unable to get her on the show, but she is going to be on the show. She just confirmed it with me right now via text.
Good.
So Trysta will be here to talk some basketball, which is good.
Big day for hoops. We'll get to all that coming up here. We're live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book.
We are.
On X and Twitter, same handle at Boston versus the Book, replayed on Sports Grid TV and Sirius XM channel 159. If you guys are on the replay crew, hi, thank you. If you're listening to the podcast, subscribe on either Spotify or Apple. Do us a favor and do that. And tell us, you can leave comments now, both on Spotify and on Apple on the podcast individual episodes. So you can tell us what you think on that. You guys do a great job on the YouTube, going over and making comments after the show is over. We appreciate you guys all for doing that, helping the algo get going. Football to start before we get to a lot of basketball with Trysta here. The Jets this morning fired Joe Douglas.
Nobody missed anybody. Roger, stay patient, guys. Trista's going to be on in 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we just started the show 3 minutes ago. How'd you miss anything?
I don't know. I just looked down in the chat and I want Roger to stay and enjoy the show.
You didn't miss it, Roger.
Somebody
We just
everybody
started.
relax. The show just started. We need you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We had calls this morning. Matt and I did a show for about 15 minutes before the show. I learned a lot right there, so I'm good. I'm all sweaty, lathered up. We're good to go. Let's talk about some football. Jets.
Well, I mean, Joe Douglas gets fired today, right? And so Robert Saleh gets fired. Now Joe Douglas gets fired. Patriots are 3-8. The Jets are 3-8. They're both tied for last place. Does this make it more or less likely that Rodgers is back next year with the Jets?
Way above my pay grade. I could care less. I need to know what the Jets are doing in their next game.
Is there a dead cat bounce from firing the GM?
No. In the NFL?
I don't know. I mean, if this guy brought in all these players, and I mean, if there's all these players that are tied to Joe Douglas, drafted by Joe Douglas, were signed by Joe Douglas, and you get rid of Joe Douglas, the new GM comes in, he could just decide to trade everybody or cut everybody and just say later. I mean, because Aaron Rodgers, up to this point, we thought Aaron Rodgers had a lot of control over the organization and that Aaron Rodgers wanted Saleh out, allegedly. But Joe Douglas was the guy that he wanted to go and be a part of. like Joe Douglas was part of the attraction of coming in and be with the Jets. So now he's gone. Saleh's gone. You still have Woody Johnson, who may or may not be the owner next year. Like, the Jets are in such crazy turmoil because if Trump puts him back as the ambassador to England, like he was under the first administration for Trump, Chris Johnson is the owner of the Jets for the next 4 years, not Woody Johnson. Wow. His brother will run the team. The team actually was pretty good, by the way. When his brother was running the team, the Jets were actually better under Chris than he was under Woody.
So it's all done then. Like, if you fired a coach, then you fired a GM,
and the owner leaves, I mean, it's a complete and total, everything is a clean house.
Wow.
So like
last guy out, shut the door.
or turn the lights out. This is because of the clown show that the Jets have been for their better part of their whole entire existence. Like to see them like what's the point of firing a GM in season? Like, what's the point of that? Like, what does it do?
During the bye week.
I mean, but he's not coaching the team. He's not signing anybody. He's not drafting anybody. Like, what's the point? Just fire him after the year is over. Just say, okay, you're out at I don't understand the timing of this.
I don't
to fire
understand
him
it either. I don't know.
Say something to somebody? Did he piss somebody off? Like what did he do to get himself iced today as the GM? Like to give the fans, like, here's the head on the platter because Jet fans are so mad?
Yeah. There had to be something internally, right? You know, we're not coming back if this guy's still here when we come back for the bye week. I don't know. I don't know
if Rodgers stays. I really don't know. I don't know if they gave him everything he wanted. They went and got Devontae Adams. They gave up draft capital to go get Devontae Adams. That hasn't worked. They shipped out Mike Williams because Mike Williams was a problem. That didn't work. The offensive line, they tried to address that. That didn't work. They went and tried to get defensive line help. That didn't work.
Oh, JPC DeFord said that his contract was up
today.
Well, no, just I guess
at the end of the year. End of the year, sure, but
why
not let it go run out? Like again, why fire him today?
I don't know. Have you been a two weeks notice guy? Like when you're done with the job, you're done with the job. Why do you got to give 2 weeks notice?
It's a good point. I mean, that's fair, but I wonder.
I got to sit here for 2 months and go, man, this is terrible. I mean, like, I got to answer these questions. I got to come here. I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know. Do you? No. Go. Goodbye today. Okay. I don't know. I mean, it could be two grown men just having a discussion saying it's not working. It ain't been working. Your contract's done. You ain't coming back. We're not renewing you. And I got to, do something for the media. Put this dumpster fire. Here's some, here's the rest of your payments. Don't drive to work no more. I don't know.
I mean, Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys just set an NFL record for becoming the first team in the history of football to go 6 straight games with a 20-point or more deficit at home. And Mike McCarthy hasn't been fired yet.
They're going to keep that going for the rest of the year. I mean, he's paid to be there. It's a different situation.
So is Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas is paid to be there.
I know, contract. But that's enough.
It's so interesting to see why different, like your team would never do that. The Steelers would never fire anybody mid-season. They don't do that. Like they wouldn't fire GMs or coaches.
Coordinator for the first time in 60 years last year.
Right.
It's the first time it ever happened.
You guys don't do that. You just don't make in-season changes because it doesn't help anything. It can make things worse to make in-season changes.
I mean, at some points though, like, the Edmonton Oilers fired their coach last year, 10 games into the season and got to the Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7. So it doesn't always, but it can have an impact positive. It can have an impact negative. But sometimes, I don't know, what it's like sometimes in a marriage. It's time to be done. Like it just reach a breaking point where you're like, all right, this isn't working. I'd rather figure it out
on my own
without a plan than try to keep this together and suffer through it. I don't know. I know they're off, and let's see, who do they play next week? The Jets play Seattle at home.
Oh my!
There's no line, and they're going to be dogs.
100%.
And the Ramos isn't parallel.
After what Gino just did, Gino cost me a perfect 4-0 Sunday.
Yeah,
pissed off about Gino, man. I was like, stop doing that, Gino. Oh, interesting. LL and New York Times. Rodgers and Chris Johnson have a close relationship. Chris was first to arrive and spent time with Rodgers before others. Okay, interesting. So maybe if Woody does go to England, that's better. Maybe that would keep Rodgers in New York if Chris Johnson's the owner.
I mean, so what? They're 3-7 or 3-8? They're 3-8.
Yeah.
So they got 6 more games left.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long month and a half. This is the part of the season where you start to go like, and for the White Sox, it happened in like May.
Right.
How do you keep going to work when you're just
it's football too, right? I mean, it's like, do you take your body and make a business decision going like, I'm not catching that
Man,
ball.
that's
Or
hard.
I'm not tackling that dude. Like Derrick Henry's coming at me. I'm going to lay down here. I'm not going to put myself on the line. I got next year to worry about. That's the fear.
I don't know. I mean, you got to give them credit for being professionals and showing up to work. I just know the drive to work would have to suck. Like once you get out of the car and get in the facility, it's time to go to work. All right, we got
And
practice.
there's
Let's go.
And there's different types of 3 and 8s, right? Like the Patriot 3 and 8 is different than the Jets 3 and 8. Jets had high expectations. Jets thought they were going to be, contenders. Patriots were picked to be last. No one expected anything of them. They've got a young kid trying to do some stuff. They got a first-year head coach trying to learn on the job. You've got a defense that looks pretty good, but have had some pretty big injuries, getting Christian Barmore back and getting some big pieces to come back that could help them end the year on a positive note. Patriots win 5 games. It'll be considered not a success, but not a dumpster fire of a year. Jets winning 5 games it's a disaster. It's an absolute, insane. Everything is hell if the Jets win 5 games. So there's different types of, sad seasons when you have the expectations of, how many people bet the Jets to win the AFC. Like there were so many people betting the Jets to win the AFC, win the Super Bowl. I mean, you had Mike Greenberg doing victory laps on ESPN morning show talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, a lot of people been talking about the Jets and how it was going to go, and it's not going any that way. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's crazy to think he couldn't stay in Green Bay, and Green Bay found the way to just move on.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going as bad as it could possibly go for the Jets.
I'll ask you this question because somebody posted this today because I thought it was pretty interesting, and then we'll get to Trysta. Who's done more damage to the Jets brand, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre? The Jets are the football version of the Mets.
Wow, that's a hard question to answer.
Because Rodgers has done a lot of damage, but I still think Brett Favre did far worse. I mean, Brett had the whole.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he had a lot of off
his
the
legal
field
problems.
Well, those didn't surface until he went back to Mississippi, but his inappropriate behavior, showing parts of his body to people he shouldn't be showing parts of his body to.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, that stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, the back pages were far more salacious when Brett Favre was a Jet than when.
Good word. I like that word, salacious.
Yeah. So on that, so it is what it is. All right, it's a huge night in NBA basketball because the Cavaliers are 15-0. I got my Boston Celtics at home, and they're 5.5-point favorites against a 15-0 basketball team. I don't know if the line's right. I hope it is. Trysta Krick joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Trysta, what is up? Welcome back. Great to see you.
What's up, guys?
Good to see you.
Amazing
Thank
to
you for
see you
joining
guys.
us. And you're staying busy. First and foremost, what the hell are you up to right now? We got to catch up.
Redoing ancient old garages that I can't believe how handy you are. I couldn't do forget it. 80% of the stuff you've been doing on social media. Super impressed with your skills.
As you guys know, most of my life for the last 3 years has been working at night. So that means no games. That means no partaking in activities that normal humans do. So now that I'm not doing the night show anymore, I'm doing that. So we went to West Lafayette and saw Mackey Arena, which honestly is probably the loudest college basketball environment I've ever been to. I knew it was a historic place to watch a game. I don't think I fully grasped and absorbed how insane those fans are and how they were screaming the entire time they get the upset. It was so clear because when you watch college basketball on TV, I don't think you can truly feel how hard it is to play on the road in the Big Ten. Alabama was rattled from moment one, and you could kind of tell right away that Purdue was live as 4-point underdogs. Then they end up almost beating Alabama by 10. So that was awesome. I love that. And then went to go see my Oregon Ducks play Wisconsin, which was kind of a letdown, honestly. Camp Randall has a massive history and reputation for being super loud. My tickets were on the season ticket holder side, so not the cantilever side where jump around actually makes the stadium move. They were mad because I wanted to stand the whole time. They were mad at me, the Duck fans. So
well, you gave me the underplay, by the way, because I had taken Oregon money line. I laid the 13.5. Then you gave a weather report. You're like, it's 25 degrees and gusting down here. I was like, under. I bet the under the second you said that. It was 16-13 final.
That's the benefit of being in an arena or in a stadium is there's something that you can kind of feel that you cannot feel in on TV. Two things from the Alabama-Purdue game that I gathered. That kid, Phylon, the freshman for Alabama, he's real deal. He's going to be a guy that's a bucket getter down the stretch for March Madness. Just watch him. And then there's this other kid who was a 2-star recruit that I think Purdue got over Princeton. So he was not a kid that was highly recruited at all. This kid, Cox, pause. He comes in and gets you 11 points, 11 straight points, 3 straight threes off the dribble. What I don't think you would have been able to see on TV is just how intensely explosive and outmatching he was to even Mark Sears, who's an excellent defender. You could tell that he just had that bounce in his handle. Oh, yeah, this guy's going to be able to get whatever he wants off the dribble, and he did. Matt Painter goes with that like 3-guard lineup down the stretch, and it's kind of curtained. So I think like personnel stuff you can kind of see more in person, especially in college basketball. So I'm doing more of that. I'm going to go see Paige Beckers play Louisville on December 7th in Brooklyn. There's another game. I forget what game is right before that, but it's like a doubleheader sort of college basketball non-con situation. And then I'm going to go see USC Juju versus Paige December 21st up in Connecticut. So I'm going to see some games. I'm going to go and see some games.
Is it helping with the handicapping?
I think it is. I honestly think it is. If I wasn't there, I probably would have, and I'm not like, I wasn't a pessimistic Duck fan. I probably would have been more open to taking Ducks minus 13.5, 14, 14.5. Once you get in there, you just, no, it's just not happening for us. In fact, I actually took, because I'm so pessimistic and it was so cold and it felt like such a letdown spot, I took Wisconsin money line as an emotional hedge.
Almost got there.
Almost
got there.
Are the Ducks the best team in college football?
I don't think so.
Okay, agreed. I don't either, but they are the best team in the Big Ten as of right now.
As of now, I'm very concerned about this Indiana Big Ten championship game that may or may not occur, depending on what happens with the Ohio State game next week. Yeah, I just think like I'm going to have to see it to believe it. I've never seen Oregon be the number 1 team in the country ever. Even when we played Auburn and we probably should have won that game. I was watching a lot of Michael Dyer highlights over the weekend. You feel like you need to rewatch the scars. I watched the Stanford game when rewatched that fourth quarter when Mario Cristobal wouldn't run the damn ball. There was like a false start penalty, and we end up going like 2nd and 18. And then Stanford ends up beating us in overtime. I end up watching part of the second half of the Alamo game. Bowl,
my gosh, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just pain, just rewatching pain.
All right, let's get to the NBA because there's a game tonight. I have obviously a lot invested in the Celtics at home, 15-0 Cleveland. Let's start with the Cavaliers. 4th team to go 15-0. First time since the Warriors did it back in 15-16. Why are the Cavaliers this good this early, and is it sustainable?
Well, I went and saw them in D.C. I ended up getting invited by George Niang, and that was like the first time I saw them up close, and they were pretty. I think this was like maybe game 4 or 5 of the season. So this point, they're a fun team. We don't really know what they are. They beat the hell out of the Wizards, which everyone is doing, and then we were texting, he and I, and he said, watch just watch for us in this Knicks game. This is going to tell you everything that we are. And I was making jokes about the city of Cleveland. When you go there, it's kind of like, oh, for the first time, you're like, oh, Cleveland, not great, but not terrible, like not as bad as I thought that they would.
Well, he's
be.
a Massachusetts kid. I mean, he's a Mass kid who played at Iowa State for
Yes.
TJ Otzelberger. So I mean, George has been a kid that I've watched for a long period of time. He's just a solid pro, right? I mean, he's just a guy you want on your roster.
And he said, I'll give you a stat, a crazy stat in just a second about him. But so he said, if we beat the Knicks in the Garden, people are going to start to say Cleveland actually terrible. And I think it's become maybe like Cleveland maybe pretty damn good too. And I think what you see from Kenny Atkinson is just how, and me and him talked about this, you're using Evan Mobley as this fulcrum of the offense, kind of like Denver has done. We've seen that with how Kristaps Porzingis can sometimes be used, these bigs that can pass the ball. They can, basically use their kind of their instincts on what they want to do with the ball. Are they going to drive? Are they going to figure out, and he's become a shooter too. So I think they've become not predictable, which you saw with JB Bickerstaff last season, is they became very predictable, very much like dribble handoffs around the perimeter, ISO, and that's pretty easy to defend. Everybody's cutting without the basketball. The motion is going all the time. That's creating space, and you've got really a lot of shooters on this team. So, yeah, I think it's sustainable. I don't think, whoa, a deer is right outside my window, like 1 foot outside the window. What you're seeing is it's right there. What you're seeing is, I think, a new style of offense for Cleveland that probably not, they're not going to go and be 25-0, I don't think. But I think they're going to beat a lot of teams. They're one of the best teams against the spread in the first half. I think they're top 5. Yeah. They're one of the best over teams in the league, which is kind of surprising because they were known for their defense. They're scoring a lot of points. Their role players are putting up buckets. You don't know who's going to contribute on a night-to-night basis. I feel like it's a little bit of a trap line, that 5.5, but just based on the last 15 games, I think I'd have to take Cleveland plus 5.5. Maybe something in the first half as well. We know that sometimes.
How big is the deer? How big is the deer?
Huge, massive. Probably.
Like you're in,
the size of probably the width of 2 doors.
Are you in Maryland right now? Where are you?
No, I'm just outside of DC in Virginia.
Okay.
But like I'm kind of a little bit of in the woods. We've got
so after the show, download the Sport Trade app. They're live now in Virginia. They're a great book. You'll have things to look at, including tonight with Denver at Memphis. 6-point dogs right now. Lakers at home against Utah. Any opinion about either one of those games? Because it's Tuesday night, and I don't know if those are the best games. Those are the marquee games, but those are the games we've got to talk about.
Well, also it's an NBA Cup night. Yeah. So I think what you have to
like the NBA Cup?
I'm making a lot of money in the NBA Cup.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm making a lot of money in the NBA Cup. I can't tell you how because I don't want to lose the edge.
That's fine. Okay.
But it's the only place where you can gauge the competitiveness and the want to and the motivation without the scheming and the adjusting that can really screw you up in terms of props. So I've been making money in props.
Okay.
In terms of that, I do like Jaylen Brown's PRA quite a bit. I think that's hitting at like 80%. I think he's going to go up. I think he'll be a monster on the boards. I think that the board number is 5.5. I'd probably go over on that too. But yeah, props I think for the in-season tournament or the NBA Cup are the most consistent, especially for defensive props. So I like that. I think I would take Memphis. I think I would probably go with the under or with the over on Memphis too. They're 9-5 to the over right now.
Okay.
So far this season, I just think the Nuggets are cooked. Jamal Murray. I don't know if you guys saw what happened over the course of the weekend. He was playing Memphis Sunday in a matinee game. He goes to UFC 3-0 whatever. He's taking photos till 3-4 in the morning. He's got to get on a flight. He has 6 turnovers. He's looking slow as molasses. I think if you can't rely on Jamal Murray and you've already lost so many role players, I don't know what you can really gather from what the upside is of Denver when so many other teams like Golden State have gotten better and Dallas is still right there and OKC and Minnesota. Like the Nuggets are going to have a hard time even staying out of the play-in.
Speaking of cooked, the Sixers are 2-11. They had a team meeting in which Joel Embiid got called out by Tyrese Maxey saying he's late for everything, that it doesn't help us when you don't show up on time. He's not playing very much on top of that. What happens the rest of the way here for Philadelphia at 2-11? The year is not over, but this could go south, even more south, if things between the star players aren't clicking.
Yeah, I think that is the first time that anyone has felt confident enough holding Joel Embiid accountable, including the coaching staff. And Tyrese Maxey is the heart and soul of this team. He not only is this guy who's like a light and warms everyone up everywhere he goes. He's always smiling. You saw them build a shrine for him when he ended up getting his max extension. He prolonged it for the benefit of the team. Like Tyrese Maxey is the guy culturally. So somebody had to finally do it. Joel Embiid's been lazy. He's been mailing it in on his body and his work ethic. I'm not surprised that he's also late to everything and is checked out. And that's affecting everyone on the team, including the coaching staff. How does that change? I don't think it does change. I don't think you can light a fire under somebody who has gotten by on their talent their entire life, or at least since they've become this MVP caliber player. I know that he was just a tall, skinny kid who worked on his game and finally got to this level. But since then, Joel Embiid really hasn't tried to stay at an elite level. I think the Sixers are going to have a really hard year. I really do. I think the bright spot that fans are going to have and bettors are going to have is Jared McCain. I don't know how that's going to change when Maxey comes back, but Jared McCain has a lot of juice for Rookie of the Year, which I don't think he'll win, but I think his point prop every night is going to be live. I think it's just going to be that's the only bright spot for Sixers fans.
You were talking about college basketball a little bit. Are you into college basketball as far as watching the games yet? Or is it one of those? I mean, so you were at the game, Purdue, but I know it's like football, college, NFL, college, then NBA, and people are just starting to get into the college basketball. What observations or anything have you seen so far in watching the games that you're like, wow, it's UConn's still pretty good? Like anything just in general or anything specific? What do you got?
From a betting perspective, number one, I'm going to continue to do what I made money doing in the tournament last year and in the tournament the year before. And I'm now just taking that mentality, as chalky as it is, and I'm moving it into the regular season, which is I'm just going to bet and forget UConn against the spread, period. I think we're going to win more units than we're going to lose. I think that's just going to be whatever. I wouldn't do any rollovers or anything crazy like that, but just make that a staple. Every night you see them on the calendar, you're going to be up money at the end of it. I think Purdue, even though I was there and maybe you would think I was biased, I think that was a big moment for them and seeing what they can do.
Tonight's a big moment. They got Marquette tonight on the road.
On the road. I think that'll be a big test as well. Indiana plays Alabama. I think that is going to be a huge test in terms of what Indiana is. There's a lot of buzz around them. I think SMU, they got blown out as a 1-point favorite to Butler the other night. And I ended up seeing them practice walking into the facility when I was in Indy on Friday. Fading Andy Enfield is always a good thing to do. Remember, he was at SC and he was mediocre to slightly terrible. So yeah, that's kind of like my early season observations. Okay. But I think even as somebody who loves the NBA, has an NBA podcast, this college basketball season is much more compelling to me. And I think there's a better opportunity to make money in college basketball early in the non-con schedule. Things start getting very wonky once you start getting into conference play. You start, as you guys know so well, right around finals, we get those slumps, we get the unders, we get teams underperforming, your head's not in it. We just have to kind of get back into our mindset of what we accumulated our knowledge in and kind of knew at the end of the year and roll it over to the beginning of the year.
Dave asked this question a couple of days ago. I'll ask you the same question because I think there is a lot of parity. We saw Gonzaga last night. I went against them. They won by 13. I took 11.5 on the road against San Diego State. They were able to play at least well enough defensively in the second half to cover that. But you have Gonzaga, Auburn, Purdue, Houston, UConn, Kansas, North Carolina. How many teams, ballpark it, will be ranked number 1 this year in college basketball?
Ooh, that's a great question. 5? 6?
Yeah.
I think it'll be a bit. I don't believe in Auburn. I think we just cannot continue to get roped into the same teams every year, right? Oh, you know who I think is really good that we saw come to play, but also you're not sure because anytime there's a new new coach coming in, we have no idea how that's going to affect things. I love Mark Pope. Kentucky's for real. Kentucky 35-1 is live. I still love UConn because I think UConn is building something that's super sustainable. It's very hard to obviously win 3 times in a row, but 35-1 with Kentucky, with all those seniors that he has and those transfers, I think they're super disciplined. We're seeing, this backcourt where you can decide depending on whether you want Krisa or whether you want Lamont Butler in there for offense or defense. They're going to be really, really good. I think they'll go deep in the tournament.
Kentucky's got Gonzaga in Seattle in the first week of December. And that's going to be fun to see what happens because it will be somewhat of a home crowd for Gonzaga. It'll be a test because Kentucky had that with Duke. You saw the transfers. You saw that experience come in, and Duke melted, and Cooper Flagg melted.
Cooper Flagg melted.
Yeah.
he turned into butter in the sun right before your very eyes.
And I was on Duke in that game, so I was really mad that Cooper Flagg did that.
I had Kentucky money line. This is like the most random parlay that I put together. I took Rice minus 10.5.
Nice.
And Kentucky money line, 2 legs at like 5-1. And the Cooper Flagg melt was delicious.
Oh my God.
Killed me.
Let's go back to the NBA for a second. The show's called Bostonian versus the Book. All right, the Celtics. Well, we'll ask the chat in a minute here. We'll put up a poll of who's going to win tonight, and everybody's going to say the Celtics, and the Cavs are going to get their first loss. But who's the team that's going to challenge the Celtics in the East? Is it the Knicks? Is it the Cavs? Is it the Heat? We know it's not the Sixers after this thing's going to blow up. Is there anyone in the East, Trysta, or should we just make reservations for the NBA Finals for the Boston Celtics?
Injuries are always going to play into it. So you can't really just mark your calendar. That's always something that you have to factor in. But I think it's probably just Cleveland, really. It's not just the 15-0 that has me feeling that way. They're super deep, right? You've got Sam Merrill. By the way, we haven't even seen Max Strus yet this season. Yeah. People don't even remember he's on this team. He's an awesome 3-point shooter. Isaac Okoro's having a great year. Sam Merrill, undrafted guy, is really playing his role. I did a video on this kid, but let's not forget Ty Jerome has championship experience with Virginia, and he grew up with Donovan Mitchell in New Jersey. That's his boy from the time they were 6-7 years old. 6'5", a defensive specialist, able to kind of do things in closing moments, but also really help with the rotations of the bench. They're just a very deep team. And I'm a little concerned about Porzingis and what this team is. I mean, when you've got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and you've got issues with Kristaps Porzingis, I do wonder whether you can pound these dudes inside. Pause.
Yes, pause.
Outstanding.
So let me ask you about the game itself for a second, because there's a lot of people that are watching today's NBA and they see guys like Victor Wembanyama and they see big men and they long for the days of Shaquille O'Neal and the true big men, back to the basket, get the ball in the paint, play physical. Everyone from a 7'2" center to a 6'2" guard, they're all shooting threes at a record clip. Cleveland's built this way. Boston's built this way. Is that good? Do you like the game currently, or would you rather see it go back to more of an inside big man NBA basketball game?
I think we can't say what we see from Cleveland's the same as what we see from Boston, because Boston's an isolation-driven team, and they're taking 63s a game off dribble handoffs and ISO, right? You're seeing Jason Tatum dribble, step back, contested three. That's what he does. That's what he's gotten his name through. And
won the game against the Hawks doing that.
Exactly. We traveled though. And and so what you're seeing from Cleveland is threes that are off of kickouts, right? Like there's a lot of back cuts. There's easy layups. There's not as many mid-range shots, but they're still being able to attack the paint in a bunch of different ways where Boston doesn't really play that way. They're kind of mathing their way into their scoring. And I think the mathing is the problem that I have, where you're just attacking the game from a fundamental analytics perspective and not just how we love to see guys yam like Anthony Edwards does on somebody. And we want to see that. That's what's good for the game. That's what drives highlights. That's what makes young fans excited. I don't think 3-point shots from 30 feet are particularly exciting unless it's down the stretch like Damian Lillard did on Paul George.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of being reflected in the way.
So you don't think Steph is, but Steph built his whole resume based on a shot from way behind the arc, and
but that was never really ISO, right? And it was a guy who was taking you off the dribble at 6'2", 6'3", and maybe Steph impacted how other people thought about playing the game. But there's something saucy about what Steph does in every way, and how he's coming off of pin downs. He's constantly moving. You never know where he's going to be. He's open, he's not open, and then all of a sudden he hits you with the dagger. But Steph can do a lot of other things too, boy. Like his handles, his ability to get to the rim. He's just a killer. He's a psychopath. So I don't think you can say, oh, what we see with Jason Tatum is as visually appealing as it is when you watch Steph. Even Ja Morant, like when Ja's doing his thing, he's like the best, one of the best shows on earth to me. But he makes his living getting into the paint.
But Tatum is 6'11". I mean, Tatum is like, he's a pterodactyl. He
shouldn't be doing this.
Right. The size of him is such a different look because you don't normally see guards that have the wingspan that's why it looks awkward when Tatum's doing it, because we're used to guards and that hitch is gone in the shot for Tatum, which is a good thing.
It is.
But that's the difference in today's NBA, that like Wembanyama is a freak of nature, but he's becoming less of a freak of nature. It's almost becoming, we're expecting guys who are 7'2" to be able to do these things.
I think Wemby's shooting like 8 threes a game.
Nothing makes sense. Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. All right, last one for me, because I know you got a hit coming up here in a couple minutes. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you're doing now, because in the summer you were remodeling Mom's house or whatever you were doing and posting pictures, and we were like literally, I was waiting every day to see what is Trysta doing next. And now that you have your nights back, you know, you're out watching games, all this other stuff. Pump the podcast, whatever you're doing. Tell everybody right now.
Heat Check Podcast. That's an NBA podcast, but we're going to start transitioning one episode a week for the women's game. That's something like I'm really, really excited to move forward into. I think the game is growing. Paige is probably going to the Dallas Wings to play with Arike Gumbawale. There's a lot of college basketball as well. A lot of drama in the WNBA, as you guys know. Not a lot of NBA players are married to one another or dating each other or have like ex-girlfriend, boyfriend beef. You get a little bit of that in the W. So Heat Check Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, that's out 3 times a week. I'm on 670 The Score in Chicago, nights and weekends, filling in as well. And then find me on social at Trysta_Krick on Instagram. You'll see some of the like immediate takes about the NBA and other sports in general. 90 seconds or less. Hopefully they make you laugh. That's kind of where I make my bones.
Oh, I'll give you props on this. The throat game one that you put out a little while ago.
He hit his prop, by the way.
The girlfriend who claimed to have the best throat game in the WNBA or in the NBA, taking claim for championships and performances. I didn't see that coming, and you went ahead and put that out there, and I was like, okay,
so good.
The NBA gives you a lot of content. Does it not? It's a content-rich environment.
I was wondering because she posted 2 things online, right? One was like, hey, watch out for my boo and the Miami Heat. Terry's going to go crazy. And then logged off and then logged back in 3 hours later and was like, I got the best throat game in the league. I'm like, girl, this is something I would make sense to me if you did it like 30 seconds, but you thought about it and was like, I'm going to spin the block and let everybody know what kind of dome game is there.
And Terry Rozier comes home to that and says what? Like what does he do to that? Like, thanks, honey. I appreciate that.
I don't know if they're that.
Okay.
You know, I don't home to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In the on the team plane, it's like, hey, Terry, your girl's running loose. Get a hold of your girl.
Yeah.
What is she
What are
doing?
you doing here?
Gotta cut this out.
Probably WYD. Like, what is going on?
Why? Like, why? You're awesome, Trysta. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it. You're great on social. We'll do this again soon, all right?
Absolutely. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Trysta Krick joining us here on the Boston versus the book. Great to get her on talking about this. And Hurst, if you guys don't follow her on social, you guys got to go do that because she's got some hysterical takes and really, really funny stuff. And that's one of them. That was one of her best recent ones. Was Terry Rozier's girlfriend deciding to air a lot of dirty laundry on that.
It's one of those things that just makes you realize, like, you don't have to put everything on the social.
No, not that. You don't need to be claiming those types of things. Like, there's publicity, there's attention, and there's like, yo, like, come on.
Yeah.
We don't need this type of attention.
I don't need that. I don't need that.
All right, what happened last night? Your boy Paul Skeens and Luis Heel winning the NL and AL Rookies of the Year. The Pirates put out this picture, which I thought was pretty darn funny. When Paul Skeens went ahead and won.
Yeah.
Who are we highlighting here? We highlighting Paul Skeens or are we highlighting the girlfriend?
Got to use what got you there. There's different things for different people.
Who's happier in this moment? She or him? Who's happier right now?
I don't know. I mean, you could caption that picture 100 different ways, right? Like if I'm looking at that, what would you put over Paul's head right there?
Yeah, I'm very happy with my life.
I don't know. See, like I'd put in there, like, why are you enjoying this morning?
Right? Why are you so happy? What did you do?
Like, hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta go to spring training in a couple months. And yeah, I gotta throw. My arm hurts. Wait, hold on here. I don't know. You could caption that picture a bunch of different ways. In fact, if you guys are watching the show right now,
go ahead. Yeah, you can
put a caption.
Caption
That picture in the chat right now. Yeah.
It's an unbelievable picture. And then we have obviously our local version of that.
That one is Bonvi. One snap, as you guys know, watching the show or listening to the show. He and Paul Skeens. Bonvi does he look happier or less happy than Livy?
He looked more happy than Livy Dunn.
He does, doesn't he?
He does.
He does.
Although they're probably similar. I know Skeens looks more happy in this picture than he does with Bonvi.
Like where Livy's hands are right there. Like you could really have so many things to say. I mean, like Bonvi gave up the point. I like that.
Yeah, the one.
And Livy's like, you should see.
Oh, really?
You should see how big this fish was.
What are we doing
last week?
I was not expecting. Good save. Good
Right?
save. Good save.
We caught this fish.
Good save.
It was this big. It was this big. Not this big.
Goodness.
It was this big. Because on this show, we fight for that inch. And I'm just saying. I don't know.
It's too good. It's too good. Yeah, he wins a reward and also won the NL Rookie of the Year. Fair. That's true. So congratulations to Paul Skeens. He becomes the first Pittsburgh Pirate to win it since Jason Bay. Remember him? Jason Bay back in 2004. It's been 20 years since.
I remember Jason Bay. Do you?
He was a Red Sox for a while. Yeah.
Went from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Instead of Pittsburgh to the Yankees, which was
Pittsburgh to Boston.
It went Pittsburgh to Boston. Yeah. Won the Rookie of the Year, and then boom, Red Sox. I don't know if he was good after that, though. I don't know.
Was he on the 07 team that won it all? I think he was.
I think he was.
I think he was
Jason
on.
Bay have a ring. I think he does.
I think Jason Bay was.
Oh, maybe he was still a Pirate then. I'm hoping. I don't know.
Let me see. Jason Bay was not part of that Red Sox roster. So when did he become a Red Sox? That's interesting. Did Jason Bay win
Trysta just sent me a text, said, that was fun. Thank you. And I
Good.
said, all right, that was fun. We love you.
Yeah.
I need a picture of the deer.
He was a Red Sox from 08 to 09, just 2 years.
Yeah, he missed it.
So he did not win a championship. He was a 3-time All-Star and a
Mm.
Rookie of the Year. He did win the Silver Slugger Award with the Red Sox, though, in 2009. And then parlayed that into a deal with the Mets, and he ended the year, ended his career in 2013 with the Mariners.
Mm.
So he played for the Pirates from 03 to 08. He was pretty good for you guys for a while.
He had some good numbers. He did. He had some
Yeah,
good numbers for us.
He was pretty good. Luis Heel wins the Rookie of the Year in the American League, the 10th Yankee to win that. It's the second closest vote since 1980, which is another reason why I do not bet these things, because I don't like trusting
Who was second?
Human beings. So the vote was this: Heel, Cowser, Wells, Miller, Smith, Abreu, Langford.
Yikes.
106 to 101. It was not a runaway. Heel was not a runaway.
I would have given it to Miller. I'm just kidding.
Oh, he was the most fun. I mean, in terms of just straight gas, guy coming in when you were psyched to see him start or come in.
I mean, I guess it was. I mean, those numbers are what? So it's position player versus pitcher, right?
Basically. Well,
that's what it came down to in the National League. Is do you give it to a position player or a pitcher? And I guess the pitcher has, if he has the stats, he deserves it. Why was Bruce Bader in the chat asking question? Will Paul Skeens' next team be the Yankees or the Dodgers? Not today. Not today. Let's celebrate the fact that he's a Pirate, and he recognized it after.
Were you surprised he won it though? I mean, like he deserved it, but I was like, I mean, there was a good part of August where it wasn't going to be Skeens.
Oh,
the odds. I mean, he wasn't the odds-on favorite after August 1st, right?
Oh, his odds were. I mean, it was you could get 9 to 1 on him in August.
So what changed? Do you think the overall?
He had an unbelievable
September
as far as. It made his numbers so historic. I mean, you don't have an ERA under 2 as a rookie. You don't. He won a couple more games to give the argument a little more strength. And
wait, Bombi, you asked him if he'd go to the Yankees. You asked Paul Skeens if he'd go to the Yankees,
and he
said, "You actually
no way.
asked."
And he said, "No way." Listen, Pittsburgh is a great place to live, and all he has to do is win a little bit there,
right, and be a god. But there are some people who really are mad. I mean, people in the content space had Jackson Merrill tickets, some pretty good prices on Jackson Merrill tickets that didn't come in last night.
Oh, no doubt.
He was great.
There's no question about that. Like the argument for him didn't change. It got better in September. It's just the narrative got flipped more towards Skeens again. People started betting Skeens again. It was, I mean, I don't know. It wouldn't have surprised me if Merrill would have won it.
No, but I thought he was going to win it. I'll admit, I was surprised when I saw my phone and it went, oh, Paul Skeens won. I was like, oh, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. We saw the guy pitch. We saw the guy when he did at Wrigley Field. I mean, I have no issue with Paul Skeens winning Rookie of the Year. He was awesome. But the narrative around him in August and September was bad team. Merrill's on a playoff contending baseball team, clutch hits. Skeens was, I mean, he was pitching in meaningless games. So I was assuming it was going to be Jackson Merrill that won it.
Yeah, well, that's why they have those votes. That's why like betting those things is like, I mean, you have to have them both. Ideally, at some point, you have them both at plus money, and one wins you more than the other, but you win. Leaving it up to chance the way somebody votes. I mean, they just had an election where you could have bet this and other things, and you can believe polls, and you can believe what 30 people vote for this.
It's nuts.
30. I still can't believe that. When I found that out, I was like,
the Pirates,
I don't think we can ever bet this again.
The Pirates just posted this. They're giving away a signed Paul Skeens National Rookie of the Year jersey.
Yeah.
So you can repost it if you want for your chance to win that. Pirates have been active in social media, man. They are taking advantage of this postseason. They may have hired a new person or something, but they are Whoa, there's billboards in Pittsburgh telling, really? Nothing to sell the team?
Oh, yeah. You haven't seen these?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
They're all over. Yeah, somebody bought them. And they're in the pirate. Yeah, I'll send you after the show. I'll send you. I mean, the tweets are all over. Just.
Is it recent or has it been happening consistently?
It's like last week.
Oh, wow.
They're all over. Yeah, they're having meetings downtown. Like 30 people show up, but they're like, we need to have them sell the team. Let's have a sell the team rally.
Huge Pirate fan, but I was very surprised from Chris. Yeah, I was too. I was like, oh, okay, good. I was glad he won it, but I was not expecting it. I thought Jackson Merrill was going to win it yesterday. It is award week, so we'll find out the awards. Ohtani MVP, Judge MVP.
No mystery there.
Yeah, but the rest of them, Cy Young coming down for NL and AL Cy Youngs coming as well this week. The Dallas Cowboys, I mentioned it earlier, set the record for trailing by 20 points or more at home for 6 consecutive games.
Dear Lord.
Still America's team?
What? It never was. I mean, seriously. But that was
they suck.
It's not even painful to watch. I mean, you just know what it is. You feel bad that it's on primetime and it's a standalone game.
Right.
Like even so Jess gets home and Kendall was downstairs watching something and she's like, isn't there a football game on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, can we put it on? And I was like, yeah, this is why I love you. This is why I married you. This is great. I didn't care because I had it on, upstairs and whatever. So when I came down, we clicked it on. She's like, oh, it's the Cowboys? And I went, yeah. She goes, oh, I don't care. I think a lot of people felt that way.
They got blanked 17-0 in the second half.
Picks. They both threw interceptions in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Brutal.
Both of the interception for quarterback.
Brutal.
Cashed. Then, I don't know. Once you realize in football that you can run and you don't have to pass,
right,
and they can't stop you, like that's what Houston did.
Yep.
It was ugly.
Oh, they just beat him up. I mean, they just beat him up and did whatever they wanted to do. And now the question is, what do you do with Dallas the rest of the year? Fade? I mean, these numbers might get big for Dallas. They're 0-5 at home. 0-5 at home.
Who else they got at home?
Giants, Bengals, Bucks, Commanders.
They have 4 home games left.
Yep.
Giants. Who else?
Their full schedule is they play at Washington this week.
Okay.
Home for the Giants on Thursday night on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Monday night at home. Oh, God, back-to-back primetime games for the Cowboys. Holy crap. Monday night at home against the Bengals. Sunday
okay.
At Carolina. Home for Tampa on Sunday Night Football. At Philadelphia.
That'll be flexed out. There is no way that Dallas Sunday Night Football game is going to be that will 100% be flexed out.
It better be. December 22nd, Dallas hosting Tampa. At Philadelphia, and then Washington at home to end the year.
Wow. What do they win? 1 more game? Maybe 2?
They probably beat Carolina.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe New York. Maybe they beat New York on Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving and it's a tradition, but
I said it yesterday on the socials, on the Twitter, that we're planning our meal around the Dallas game because don't need to be watching it. That's for sure. So, and JPC just said the Lions will save Thanksgiving, just nap during the Dallas game. Okay.
Fair.
Who wants to see that?
I don't know, Vinny. Why aren't they playing Trey Lance? I don't know. You traded for him. He's not better than Cooper Rush. What are we doing?
At times in these situations, who's the real backup?
Cooper Rush?
Is he? He's the backup right now.
Okay.
Trey Lance may be the real backup. We can't have him going out there getting killed. I don't know.
I mean, we have Cooper Rush against Tommy Cutlets on Thanksgiving.
That's the game. That is. I mean, because Tommy Cutlets is starting. So that's not even it's not even like a funny meme. That's real.
It's real. It's not
over
that's
to
fake.
That'll be over to
oh my God.
Over the total.
I don't know. I mean, there's so many there's so many interesting situations that are running around Dallas about Bill Belichick and whether Belichick might wind up going to Dallas. Same thing of being, he may go back to Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski might be out in Cleveland. Belichick might go back to Cleveland. I mean, there's
like, other than you want to really get back into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's times where you know you can do the job and you want to do the job, but you have to say no to the job. It's just in life.
Well, I mean, I think
there is nothing. I don't see the upside for Belichick saying yes
to what? I mean, if you believe in Dak, I don't, but I agree. If you want the money, I mean, Belichick's got an ego the size of Connecticut. So, like, he's going to want some level of, like, he's not going to Carolina. He's not going to a has-been franchise. Like, he's not going to Jacksonville. I'm sorry. Bill Belichick's not going to Jacksonville. But Cowboys, what's interesting to me, if the Bengals had a different ownership and they weren't so stingy about firing their coaches, because Zach Taylor should have been fired years ago. So you fire Zach Taylor, that's the job. If you're Belichick, the Bengals are the job you want. You have a franchise quarterback, you have a franchise wideout.
Seeing it different. Like, if he can get a quarterback or somebody, I don't think he believes in Trevor Lawrence, but I have no idea what he believes. But he can go to Jacksonville, live in Florida, and win a division. Like,
you have an owner who doesn't know what he's doing, and you're playing 2 games in England. Like, it's
the owner knows he doesn't know what he's doing. If you're Bill Belichick, you can tell him what to do.
Fine.
You basically own the team and get the keys to the store. You
the
get an
Bengals
old guy in Cincinnati, he ain't going to listen to nothing you have to say.
Well, or he listens to everything you have to say and he gets out of the way. He just says, here's the keys, Bill. Go win me a Super Bowl. I don't want any part of it.
There's no chance that's happening in Cincinnati. They don't change. They're not doing it. They would never mesh.
Really?
I don't think they would ever mesh. But the team, I would love to coach Joe Burrow. That'd be great.
I mean, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins.
Oh,
you've got it. That's the job. The best job is the Bengals.
And he has to rebuild the whole defense.
Yes, but he can. I mean, that's what he does. That's his
right.
He can do that. That's not hard.
Yeah.
And you have, you have Henderson. You got guys that you want to build around. You got defensive ends and players you can build around. And I mean, Zach Taylor should 100% be out. He won't be, but I mean, they're 4-7 and they're out of the playoffs and they're god awful. Lost to the Patriots, out of the game. He has sucked in all 3 years in weeks 1 and 2. He's 0-6. They're not ready. They're not prepared coming out of training camp. They learn on the job. And by the time they wake up and realize it's too late this year, but they wake up and go, oh my God, we're playing football now. So that's a job I would want from Belichick. I would fire and take over the Bengals. I think there's going to be a decent chance the Raiders will offer the job to Belichick. Decent shot. Does he want the job and who's the quarterback? But good chance he gets the keys to the castle. Does he want to work for Tom? I don't know. But I think the Raiders will make an offer to Belichick to have him come here and coach the Raiders.
Wow.
And then I think there's probably a decent shot that there'll be 1 or 2 other teams, Cowboys, maybe the other, that will make a real inquiry on Belichick. All accounts is he wants to coach. That's all accounts is he will never go to the Jets. Sports vendor, he's not going to the Jets. One place he's not going.
That would be amazing.
If you watch the Betcast tonight, I'll wear it. What are you going to wear?
Alex
sorry. You're wearing that jersey. Where's that one? Jerseys? Oh, the Comets jersey.
Comets jersey.
Sorry.
The Giants? No, I don't know.
He would go there, but supposedly there are some issues between the Mara family and Bill that never really got resolved.
Right.
So that's been the thought about it would make the most sense for him to go take over the Giants, go win a Super Bowl with the Giants and right off into the sunset with he made his name in New York with the Giants in Parcells. So go and do, what Parcells, what you were supposed to have done a long time ago. The Jet job was never supposed to happen. It was supposed to have been the Giant job. You're supposed to take over from Parcells. It didn't happen.
I don't know. If you got out, losing, what were they last season? 4-13?
Patriots?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
3-14.
Yeah. Sounds right.
I think they only had 3 or 4 wins, and he's out, and his legacy wasn't tarnished. Not that his legacy matters to him, as maybe it matters a little more than it does to Mike Tyson, but who knows? I don't know. I think you gotta be very selective about the job, because the next job he takes is his last job officially.
100%.
And I don't know if you want to, one, you need the aggravation. Two, you want to go and win. Like, the last thing he wants to do is go have another 4-13 season.
I think he's just pissed off at Kraft. I think he's just, I think he wants to have the last say. I think he wants to be the one that walks, not be told to walk. Like, I think Kraft made a really big mistake. And I don't know if he was off his meds or something, going on Charlemagne the God and making the comment of, like, when I fired Bill. But that changed everything. I mean, everybody, if you follow Fitzy on social media, you should do that. But Fitzy had an awesome run, like showing Bill Belichick before Kraft went on that show, on that morning show, and then after Belichick, after. And Belichick has done nothing but crap on the Patriots since that comment. Talking about when, remember Mayo said the guys quit?
Yeah.
He lit Mayo on fire. Like, he just absolutely eviscerated him for doing that. Then he talked about all the players that were still there and how guys he had coached and guys he had brought in, and they're not soft and they're not quitters. And these are guys who are working really hard. And look, the coach needs to find a better way of motivating them and blah, blah. Like, his attitude toward the Patriots switched so fast when Kraft said, I fired, when I had to fire Bill Belichick, because it was supposed to have been a mutual separation.
Right.
So Kraft now says, I fired you. I kicked out the greatest coach of all time. And Bill's like, okay, fine. So I think he's on a warpath. And I think he will coach again for that reason, because he wants to stick it up Kraft's butt and be like, see, I get to walk. He wants to go win again, just like Tom did it to him. Tom walked to Tampa and won a championship. I think Belichick wants to do that to Kraft.
All right. Sounds like a lot of drama.
Been a lot of drama with the Patriots, a lot of egos. I mean, you don't win without it. It's a lot of people who have big checkbooks, egos, and, we'll see.
The best way to win is just to go win.
Fair.
Like, you don't have to tell anybody about it. Bill going on these tirades and saying this and that. I don't know. Sometimes you got to be the better person and just shut up. You know the truth. In the media right now, it's very interesting, just in general, not just in sports talk, but in life talk and politics talk. The loudest isn't always the right one, or the one telling the truth. Like, you just got to kind of know that sometimes just let it go.
As a Sixer fan, what do you got? What are you doing with your team? But 2-11,
completely combustible situation. I mean, this is blowing up. It's already blown up. They're 2-11. Kincaid had a tweet today that basically said what they had to go the rest of the season to finish with what number of wins it takes to make the playoffs. And he's like, I think they got to play at like 74%.
Damn.
Clip the rest of the way. So is the season over? Like, it's pretty much over. I don't know when they're going to win 9 games in a row to get back to 500. I mean, they're 9 games under 500 now. So, yeah, it sounds like a lost season. I don't know. When you saw it, they're tied for the worst record in the NBA. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I don't know. In Philadelphia, I feel like this is how you get traded. Like, I know they don't want to trade Embiid, but in markets like Philadelphia, you can't be called lazy and disinterested and not locked in and not committed. Like, you can't make the amount of money that Embiid is making in a market like Philadelphia and not have sports talk radio be on your ass 24/7. Like, that's how you get shipped out. And the fans will be happy to ship you out.
MVP a year ago.
I know he was. I'm just saying, like, this is what happens in markets like Philadelphia if you don't take your job seriously. Now, maybe Tyrese Maxey will change everything for Embiid. Maybe this is the moment, and Trysta talked about it. He's finally being held accountable. Maybe there is a moment where it all clicks for Joel Embiid. And he goes, okay, you're right, Tyrese. I'm sorry. I'm going to get in line. I'm going to get rehabbed. I'm going to get healthy. And we're going to go and set, maybe we won't do a great thing this year, but next year you and I are back to get after it.
It's
or maybe
hard
not.
when the health thing is a real thing. If you can't stay healthy, what your best ability is your availability. I mean, you got to be healthy. and you got to be able to play. 2, they played a lot of basketball this summer. The guys that played in the Olympics.
True. Right.
And all that other stuff. And like, they look like they were trying. The effort during the summer and the Olympics and all that. Like, and then you get to this, you got to be kind of mad if you're in that locker room with going, well, you were fine in July when you were high-fiving Steph and KD and all that. I saw you on the bench waving that towel. Why aren't you like that now? You know, we can't even get you here on time for the bus.
LL, that's this season. March 20th of 2025 is this season.
They ain't trading them.
No, I'm not saying, but they could run them out. I mean, this is where you get you can't do this in Philadelphia. Like, maybe he wakes up, but these are markets: Boston, Philly, New York, Chicago. You can't be called lazy. You can't be a rich millionaire who won't work. It doesn't help. It makes it a toxic situation for everyone on the roster until you're removed.
All you got to do is try.
Right, which is not hard, right? Which is
Literally.
You control one thing. Your effort is what you control.
All
so
you
like,
got to do is try.
If he goes
try,
and maybe Maxey smacks him upside the head and says, "What are you doing, man? Like, come on. Like, this is, I know your health is an issue. I know back-to-backs aren't happening, but you can't show up late." Like, that's the thing. When you get called out by a team leader because you won't show up on time, I mean, that's just disrespect.
Well, I mean, that's what it was. At least it's being reported. There's probably a lot more to the story. He's
Fair.
probably, who knows what. I don't know. I mean, one of the last times we were all together in the risk room at the book, everybody was bitching and complaining because the company was going to be sold. Nobody knew their future. It was terrible. It was one of the most toxic work environments I've ever been in my life. It was painful to go in every day. And finally, everybody would have side conversations and who's watching this. And when, we would lose a bunch of money and somebody would blame somebody. And it was the worst, one of the worst work experience I ever had. We had a team meeting. We had a blowout. Everybody in there. And I remember what I said. I said, listen, if you guys hate it here that much, if you don't like it, just leave. Just go. Because you coming in and half-assing it ain't helping nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And you complaining about it is making it worse. So I'm going to come in with my beats on. I ain't going to talk to none of you. I'm going to do my job and I'm going to go home. Or we can try to get through whatever we got to get through and everybody find their way as wherever this is going to end up. And it felt like being on a losing team. It was torture until we said it. And once we said it, a couple guys were like, wow. I mean, everybody wanted to fight. We were going to meet in a parking lot out back. It was great. Had to air it out. And once we did, everybody got through whatever they had to get through. 2 guys left. Everybody else stayed to the end. You either, as a professional athlete, figure out how to be a part of the team, play the games, come to the practices, or they trade you. You got to go.
Right.
That's it, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think, look, next offseason, things keep going down this direction. Embiid might be sent somewhere. It's possible. Who wants him with that contract will be a question, but So you've said a couple times today, Boston's winning today?
I want Cleveland to win so bad. I do. I just, for content's sake, okay. I want them to win so bad. But I don't know. I'm looking at the lines now, and I'm not encouraged by any of it. I think the game's going to fly over the total.
Probably. Boston and the Cavs both have been over machines.
Yep. And I already have my outfit set up for tonight for Sports Grid. So I'm going to focus on that game because, we have so much college football going on that I feel like the Tuesday NBA stuff is good, but the late game is Utah and the Lakers. It's such crap. And Oklahoma City is playing San Antonio, another game that's like crap. So I don't know. This game is going to be everything. It's not the end of the world if Cleveland loses, but man, does it give Cleveland some Does it give them a little something extra if they win it?
Sure, it's the defending champs, of course.
No, but they're 15-0. Like, it's more than that.
Yeah, LL, yes. Boston first half team total over, yes.
Why is it not 61.5 or 62.5? The total in the game is now 236.
Don't know. It's a great question. I don't know.
That's
Trysta gave you the rebounds, gave you rebounds over for Brown, points, rebounds, assists for Brown. Celtics first half team total over, money line Celtics. Those are your plays for tonight.
Most wins to start a season, I think, is I don't know what
19
it is,
right?
This is the fourth longest, right? This is the fourth longest streak.
It's the longest since the Warriors did it in 15-16. They opened up 15-0.
And they lost the Warriors? Or they went on, I think, would they go 18? Can't remember.
I don't know what they did. But I
People
know
were making so much money just betting that every day.
Because they were the defending champs.
Cup game, they play better D.
Jaylen Brown rebounds, Jaylen Brown's points, rebounds, and assists,
PRA.
both over.
The PRA. The kids love the PRA.
Are the plays.
As does Trysta. Yeah.
Oh, they went 18-0. Thank you, Rain. They went 18-0.
Okay.
Okay. Good job on that. You're welcome, Rich. Yeah, that was easy. That was an easy W last night with Orlando.
Yes.
Suns are in deep trouble. Deep trouble. Suns are a mess. Like bad. You mentioned Denver and Memphis. This number is what? You said 6? It was 3.5 this morning. So who was out for
6.
Denver?
I don't know. But it's 6. I have no idea.
Eric, you're right. Celtics, this is why they went 8 for 27 in the first half against the Raptors and scored 56 and went under their team total of 61. They hit 40% of their threes. It's going over. But yes, Jokic is out. That's why. Thank you. Okay, Jokic is out. But yes, 63. Yeah. Just shoot threes. And they've been, it's 59.5. It must because it missed the last 2 games. That must be why. Because the
game play defense.
People are betting it under because they've lost the last 2. That must be why. Cavs going to play defense tonight. Interesting. Purdue is on the road at Marquette in the only really big college basketball game tonight. Purdue coming off their win over Alabama. First road game of the year for Purdue. Marquette's off to a good start. Is it higher than 5? It was 5 this morning.
Let's see. Where's it at? Halfway down the board here.
At Marquette. Still 5. Thanks, LL. Okay.
Geez, NC Wilmington is playing at Kansas 24.5. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, it is still 5.
Good. Take it.
Take who?
Purdue.
152, 153. Under.
Probably. It's Marquette. Probably under.
Would Ken Palm have this?
1 point loss for Purdue.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Huh. And they're 5-point dogs.
I like Purdue. This number is too high.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. Again, I'm not as interested in unless
it's Shaka. So Shaka's going to want to play defense, and
we're
going to want to play tough. But I like
Purdue.
Purdue.
Do they have a lot of new guys?
Everyone has a lot of new guys. It's college basketball. Everyone has a lot of new guys.
That Marquette team at the end of last season was.
The star players on the Knicks.
So they lost. Okay, him and the other guy at the top are both okay.
Both gone. Yeah, okay. Both gone for them. All right, Evan Abrams. It's Tuesday, so we get a chance to look at his college football notes. There's some fascinating stuff for college football this weekend. 10-0, a 10-0 Big Ten team listed as a double-digit dog has only happened one time in the last 30 years. That was 2002. Ohio State was a double-digit dog against Miami. They won the game outright in that matchup. Ryan Day is 56-1 straight up and 32, 23-3 against the number as a double-digit favorite. Ohio State's laying 12.5 points to Indiana this weekend. This is crazy. Top 5 teams listed as double-digit dogs. Since 2014, they're 0-14.
Got an invitation to go to Columbus this weekend.
See, with brother?
And I was like, I don't know. I checked the line last night and I almost started crying. I was like, man, this can't be. I'd love to see Indiana win.
12.5. 10-0. Oh, look, JR was at that game. He was at that Ohio State Miami game.
Look at that.
Wow.
Wow.
Hoosiers are coming for their scalp.
Oh, Roger. Roger, I swear. The whole world is going to be turned upside down if Indiana wins that football game. The whole world.
My. Could you imagine?
Because then Ohio State might be left out.
Yep.
Because their only good win is Penn State, and everybody keeps saying how bad Penn State stinks.
What a game this is going to be. This is fascinating. They gave Sig an 8-year extension. They locked him up. Indiana thinks they got something cooking here for Ohio State.
I mean, it's at 9 a.m. our time.
IU outright.
Man, don't fall for it, people. Ross Randall, I hope you're right. Are they really going to win?
Graduated IU, bleed scarlet and gray. I really think OSU wins by double digits. Indiana hasn't faced this kind of defense.
Sucks, but Johnny Parlay's probably right.
They'll rename the stadium after Sig if he wins.
Oh, yeah. Signetti Field? Oh, yeah. Oh, God, it'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. Yeah. I don't know. Winner in, loser out. Literally, you could say that.
A one-loss Indiana team can't make it?
Not with the way things are going.
Agreed.
I was looking at it. I mean, and tonight's the whole thing. Tomorrow we'll be debating about the college football playoff again, and
it's not going to look that different. BYU is going to drop. Georgia's going to go up. That's about it.
Georgia's in.
Yeah, that's about it. Those are the two big. I mean, BYU probably will be like a 10 seed or an 11 seed. Georgia probably would be a 9 or an 8.
Oh, I just no. I mean, between this one, the next one on the list. I mean, what are we?
So it's not just Indiana. Army is undefeated, and they're catching 14 against Notre Dame. That game being played in New York City. Just the second time in. Oh, I froze.
You're good.
Hold on.
You're good now.
Whoa, big freeze.
You're not frozen. You're good. You think you're frozen. You're not.
Hold on. Whoa. What just happened?
I don't know. I'm watching you. Nothing's happening right now. Yeah, you never went away.
I never went away?
No.
Oh, wow. Everything went haywire on my end. Wow, that was crazy.
Yeah. No. You were fine. Now you're frozen. Now snap your fingers. Okay. Now you're back.
Well, StreamYard just went crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You're frozen. Are you back?
Now you're gone. Yep.
Huh.
StreamYard. Done. There we go. Hello.
There we go. Now we're back. Wow.
Okay.
That's never happened before. That was a massive catastrophic StreamYard collapse.
Don't know what that was. Yeah.
All right. Second time in the last 30 years we've seen where two teams 9-0 or better are both double.
And Matt's gone. Matt is gone. So, boy. They're sabotaging the show. Hi, boys and girls. I'm Dave.
Hold on.
I bet the Browns to win the Super Bowl. No, to win this weekend.
Hi.
Hi, you're back.
Wow.
Okay.
That was a catastrophic failure. It's never kicked me out before.
I don't know.
Wow.
What that was. Yeah.
It literally threw me out. It was like, get out.
Sabotaging the show.
Wow. Are we still streaming? We're good still, right?
We're good. Everything's fine. I'm watching the show on the other on the YouTube channel. So
that's crazy. Anyways, double digit dog. So what do you make of Army against Notre Dame here this week?
The numbers are the reality dose of reality in the romance of college football.
Okay.
Like it's the reality is that Army's probably going to get their ass kicked. They're going to look good doing it. They got them new uniforms for this. Man, I don't know. No, Army's not going to win. They're not going to win. 14.
I would love for them to win. I would love for them to knock out the Irish.
You want to knock out the Irish?
I would love it. It's not going to happen, but I'd love it. It's just not. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But I would love it.
Give the kids a poll right now on a Tuesday. Give them a quick poll. Or can you do it or no?
I can, but just.
Are you sure? You're risking? Are we risking taking the whole show down with a poll?
Don't
do it.
We'll find out.
Oh God.
We'll find out.
14. ND minus 14. Army plus 14. Who you got?
Boy.
Because my favorite thing about today may be that the brigade's going to put in the contest picks for you and that other contest.
Oh God.
We're going to ask them every week for their 4 plays.
Go
To
ahead.
see if they can get you home. 14.
Cover. Were you in 14?
Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah. Notre Dame 14 minus 14 and Army plus 14. Watch what happens here. Be magic. What happens? There we go. It's up in the chat right now. Live vote if you're watching the show.
Oh my! This episode brought to you by Netflix.
Oh, nice work, D.
Pretty good. That's pretty good. Florida is 3-0 straight up. 3-0 against the spread over the last 3 home games.
Yes.
But Ole Miss is laying 10
I
at
know.
Florida. Lane Kiffin is 12-4-1 against the spread as a road favorite since 2019. I got a feeling
with this one.
I got a feeling Ole Miss is gonna crush Florida.
Do you?
Yep. Too much Florida love. Reality check against that defense.
Where is that game?
Florida.
I can't find it on the.
It's at Florida.
Florida's the home team. What time does it start? I can't find it on the board.
3:30 Eastern.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Painted 10. Yeah. Wow. So I guess it's Ole Miss time.
Yeah. It's time to put a message out there going, hey. Billy, thank you, but we're not playing around right now. We're going to go put some numbers up on your defense.
This is an indictment on LSU.
Oh, we'll get to them here in a second. Yeah, they got a problem themselves. We'll go to that game.
Holy crap.
Vandy at LSU. LSU's laying 8. LSU hasn't lost 4 straight games since 1990.
Yeah.
But Vandy is 6-0 ATS as a 7-point dog or more this year. If Vanderbilt covers, they would be the second team in the last 30 years, only Temple of 2014, to go 7-0 against the number as a 7-point dog or higher in a college football season.
Oh, that sounded great. What's the play?
Vandy plus 8. I mean, LSU's got problems. They're fighting. They're yelling at each other. Like, I think Vandy's live.
I got a text today from my dear friend Butchie, who's connected to a lot of people down in that area of the country, and said that they're going to buy out Brian Kelly at the end of this year.
Okay.
And give the job to Dion.
Jesus Christmas. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we doing?
And I was like, wait a second. Do you believe this? Like, is this real? I don't know. He sent me some things that I have to read after the show. And I was like, I'll read it, but really? I mean, does everybody want to go coach in the SEC?
I mean, Dion wants to go to the SEC because he wants to go stick it up everyone's butt that told him he couldn't coach. That's what he wants. I mean, he's on a mission to go and make everybody who laughed at him suffer. I mean, he was at a historic. He was on HBU, and no one thought he was good enough. SEC schools looked down on him. Were like, "Get out of here! You're a clown. You can't coach. Don't talk to me." He wants to go out. He goes to coaches LSU, one of the blue bloods in the conference. Oh my gosh, that would be. Oh my.
I don't know. I mean, everybody's trying to put him in the NFL.
Right. With the Cowboys. Right.
You know,
I think he's better in college. His stuff will sell more in college.
I don't know. If you're a good, successful college coach, I mean, and now it's changing. It's not what it was. I heard a great rant about how college sports is changing, and it's not for everybody. I mean, college basketball coaches are leaving. I mean, the day before the season started, the guy in Virginia just left. I'm good. I don't need this no more. You know, I heard Pat talking about it this morning about there going to be a salary cap in football. In college football.
Has to be.
It's going to be it's going to be a mess. So if you're thinking about it and you want to go where it's already a business and there are established procedures and there is a hard salary cap and there is a union and you can only do it. I mean, all that stuff is not it's like literally being formed in college right now. So it's a hard thing to weigh. But I don't think him going to LSU is going to be easy. Like that's going to be very
difficult. Win.
Him going to Florida State, return home, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. Why? I don't think so. All that said, Vandy's probably going to cover.
I agree. I like Vandy to cover. Alabama is laying 14 at Oklahoma. This is a historic number. This is the largest line for Oklahoma as a dog at home since 1997. Before this year, Oklahoma was a home dog one time from 2001 to 2023. They were a home dog in those 23 seasons one time.
Once.
They've been a dog 3 times in the SEC year one.
Yeah, they have a lot of transition too, and they
different game now in the SEC.
Coach, I mean, they're playing hard road games. I mean, they used to be favored on the road. They're not favored on the road no more.
They're not favored at home anymore. Forget the road. They're not home favorites anymore. They're home dogs.
Yeah. They're going to get crushed. How are they going to stop any running games?
Oh, they're not. They're going to be in trouble.
Like Milrose back in the Heisman conversation.
Should be. Not going to win it, but he should be.
And he's gonna light them up. Right? What's the line on that game?
14.
14. Mm-hmm. Was that the opener?
No, 17 was the opener. So bet down. It's coming down.
Solid move by the boys.
Because it's history.
No, you have to find that top. That's good. Yeah. Well, I mean, Circa opened at 13, went to 14.
Oh, wow.
There was no 17s. Oh, it depends.
There were. Somebody opened at 17. I saw it this morning.
Must have been CBS Sports Line. That's the only place that looks like it had 17.
Wow. So, I thought I saw it this morning at 17.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Start checking where you're looking. Get it together.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. No 17s.
It's 14 now. So it's up. Oh, well, Circa's been ping-ponging back and forth. Wow. 13 at one point.
The two-way. Yeah. They opened at 13. Went to 14. 13 and a half. Settle in. Let's go. We got ourselves a game.
DraftKings is 14 now. They were 13 and a half. Now they're 13 and a half, 14. That's climbing.
Bama's in it, baby.
Bama's back.
Bama's going to be in the SEC championship. Did you see Lane Kiffin said the quiet part out loud? He didn't want to play in the SEC championship.
Smart. Why get the loss? Stay out of it.
And the week and wear of tear.
Fair. Jane Franklin's won 24 straight games as a double-digit favorite. He's 48, 27, and 2 ATS. Since 1990, Penn State is 47-0 straight up as a double-digit favorite. They're laying 12 at Minnesota on the road.
Put on the dark glasses for this one because we got a lot of friends that watch the show in Minnesota. King of car seats.
Are you worried? Are you worried?
D Stout 19. Don't know who needs to hear it. Penn State's coming. They're leaving with a W.
They better, because the year's over if they don't.
Yeah. Oh, the year's over every time they step on the field. They lose. They're going to win. They're going to cover.
Oh, hello. 12-team playoff was meant for Penn State. Lose your big games and sit back and coast to a playoff berth. Ouch.
LL, I would kiss you right now if I could. All right. I don't need this shit. Sorry, Will, on my own show. I go on all these other shows and everybody tells me how Penn State stinks. I don't need to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's true sometimes. Man, I just want them to win one big game. One, I need them to get in the playoff. If they keep them out of the playoff, it's really going to be.
Yeah, but if they get in the playoff and you get stomped in the first round, it just goes ahead and puts the James Franklin target. What?
They're not going to get stomped in the first round.
Are you sure?
If they get a home game,
yes.
Ole Miss is going to go there and stomp them.
They could if the weather's not nasty. If the weather's not nasty, they're going to hang 30 in your defense and you're dead.
It's December in Happy Valley.
All I'm being told by people in New England is it never snows anymore. It's gone. They haven't had sizable snow in like 5 years.
We don't need snow.
If it's 35, 40 degrees, you're in trouble. You need snow. You need cold. You need wintry mix. You need winter. You need legit. These kids have played in 45-degree temperatures. They're not going to be afraid yet. The footing is going to be perfect. You don't want that. You want weather. You want sleet, rain, cold, nasty.
All right.
Happy Valley. You want an SEC school to come in there and freeze their tails off. If it's going to be 55 or 50 degrees and it's just winter cold, bad news.
What if Notre Dame is the team?
Oh, that's insane. That's a dream. Those tickets would be insane.
Notre Dame, Penn State?
Be the most insane ticket ever.
I mean,
that would be insane. That'd be the most
coming
insane
out
ticket
of retirement
ever.
For that one. I might have to go.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. That's gonna be gonna be I don't know. I swear. So when they go and they make the playoff, well, listen, if they lose to Minnesota this week, it's all
correct.
Right. We're talking about the Blue Bonnet Bowl or whatever crap, the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Right.
It's gonna be terrible.
Terrible.
Like the drop off as somebody who's close, like to actually getting in this first ever 12-team playoff, the letdown and drop off to the Pop-Tart Bowl is really gonna suck. Like for whomever it is. And it's been fun. I've been enjoying the Penn State. I love the hate. It's all in fun. I really think they can actually make it. I want to see them in the playoff, and I want to see them win a game. If they lose to Minnesota this week, I don't know what I'm going to be in hiding Saturday. I don't want to come out of the cave. I want to talk to anybody. I'm going to be like, come on, this can't be. It's that close. 12-point favorites. They're not losing, P-Roll, are they?
I don't want them to. I want them in. It's great for the show. I want Penn State in. Let's see what Penn State does in the playoffs. It's a good show fodder.
I'm convinced though that like Oregon was pedestrian. Trista said it. Like they were pedestrian.
They were lucky. Lucky to win.
It was no snow. It was cold.
But Oregon's not.
It was windy.
Ole Miss doesn't play the way Oregon. Ole Miss is a much different team than Oregon is.
Ole Miss is different than Oregon?
Yeah. 1, they run the ball better. 2, their quarterback is better. And 3, their defensive line's better. Ole Miss beats Oregon, I think, if they play. I'm super high. I've been high on Ole Miss all year. They spent more money than anybody else. They brought in 25 kids. Like, that's a pro team. They bought that team. That's not like college recruiting. They bought that team for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel throws too many pop fly lollipop throws for my liking. Scares me every time he throws the ball. I like Jackson Dart a lot. And the kid that came in when he got hurt, that kid that came in against Georgia, the backup, looked good. That kid can play. They got 2 quarterbacks at Ole Miss. Man. Whitrock's trying to spoken like a true Iowa fan there, Kevin. There you go. That's a true Hawkeye comment right there. Citrus in the Outback Bowl is not bad. You farmers get to Florida. Get out of the cold in Iowa. That's what that means. Arizona State's favored against BYU. ASU is looking for their first win over a top 15 team since 2019. They've played 8 times. They've lost them all. 0-8. BYU bounce back or BYU continues that downward spiral?
How's that game kick?
Got to be late. 7 our time.
No, 12:30 in the afternoon our time.
Oh, wow. Day game. Surprised.
Oh, wow.
That's good for BYU.
Yeah. Ugh. Bad spot.
They're 8-2. Arizona State, they might be the quietest 8-2 football team in the country.
Yeah, they look good too.
Mm.
This past weekend, watched some of the game. Can't even remember who they played, but I was like, wow, these guys are running the ball really well.
Kansas State.
ASU money line. Yeah, Kansas State.
Mhm.
Kansas State.
Huduka was asked.
You got to be careful. Like if you bash Kansas State, you got people coming after you. I don't want to bash.
Kansas State sucks.
State wasn't good at all.
No. After I forget the guy's sorry, I'm blanking on the Arizona State coach's name, but he was asked after the game. They said, "You're 8-2. Are you ahead of schedule?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that." He's like, "We're 8-2."
Right.
He's like, "Yeah, we're ahead of schedule." Yes, I didn't think we'd have 8 wins at this point.
Arizona State is fun when they're good. Went to a couple games. Oh, you're frozen. Look at that freeze face. Holy crap. Come back.
Should be back.
Come back. Come back. Now you're back. Okay.
StreamYard's a mess today. Wow.
Kenny Dillingham.
Thank you. He's
Sonic. Hello.
He's got that team. I mean, this is your test here. BYU loses back-to-back games. See you later. Goodbye. They're out of the conversation. So if you're a BYU hater,
Arizona State in.
They're what?
Are they in? If
The
Arizona
playoffs?
State wins the
No.
table?
No.
If they win the Big 12.
Well, can they win the Big 12?
I don't know.
Hold on.
2
can
losses.
Yeah, but in conference it's different. No, they could play for the Big 12 because if BYU, all right, well, here's the problem. 6-1 BYU, 6-1 Colorado, 5-2 Arizona State, 5-2 Iowa State. You've got 4 teams trying to make 2 spots.
So-and-so beat so-and-so, but so-and-so didn't play so-and-so.
So Arizona State beats BYU. They've got 2 losses. Arizona State's got 2 losses, but they have the head-to-head. Colorado this week will face off against Kansas on the road.
Big game.
Huge game, but Kansas is out of it. They can't make it because Kansas has multiple losses.
Right.
But they've got 4 losses. But if Colorado wins that game, they go to 7-1.
Right.
And that means they've got 1 game left, and that's going to be against CSU, right?
And they're only a 3-point favorite.
Oklahoma State. They'll have a conference game on the 29th. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Colorado's only a 3-point favorite at Kansas, who just beat BYU.
yeah. The Big 12 championship game is going to be interesting. That we don't know who's going to play in that yet.
No clue. No clue.
Huh?
Yeah.
And Iowa State's still live. I mean, they have Utah on the road and Kansas State at home.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last couple of weeks are going to be fun to watch. This is not going to be an easy
No.
for the Big 12.
Well, the Big 12 is a mess. And
Who would the Big 12 want to send? If they had to pick, who would they want in the playoff?
what are you talking about? It's
Colorado?
Of course. I think it's close. Sanders, Hunter, Dion.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. Fair. Yeah. Agreed. It would be Dion. Yeah.
Or they
fair.
want to send Sparky. And we had to ask the chat
Or Iowa State.
for the name of the coach. And I forget it already without scrolling up. Who the name of the guy is?
Arizona
Kenny
State?
Willingham.
Yeah.
Dillingham. Sorry.
Dillingham. Uh-huh.
So it was all about the D. Pause. Sorry. Yeah. Jim
I'm
Montgomery
curious.
just got fired, by the way.
Say that again.
Jim Montgomery just got fired.
Told you it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Thank you. I told you it was happening. That was happening. That was clear as day that the Bruins were going to do that.
Man, oh man, they lost.
They
last
suck.
night. I said,
They
"Ooh,
got
look at
smoked.
that." Oh my God.
Got no choice. Joe Sacco, interim head coach. Now I'm old. Joe Sacco's the interim coach of the Boston Bruins.
Who's Joe Sacco?
What?
Who's Joe Sacco?
Played for the Avalanche?
No, that's Joe Sakic.
Oh.
He's the interim coach. It says Sacco in the chat.
Yeah, it is Sacco. Yeah, he's
I don't know who Joe Sacco is.
Joe Sacco was the assistant coach of the Bruins, 10th year with the organization.
Yeah, it's not Hall of Famer Joe Sakic.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
But he is young, though.
Okay.
He's 55 years old.
55?
Yeah, went to BU, went to Medford High.
Hometown guy.
Hometown guy. He was the head coach of the Colorado Avalanche from 09 to 013 and the Cleveland Monsters in 07, 09.
The Monsters had a good team.
Cleveland Monsters. Who are they?
I don't know, but I need a hat.
Cleveland Monsters.
That's outstanding. That's great.
He was a 1987 draft pick, 71st overall of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Wow.
1987?
Yep.
First rounder. You said. Remember that draft.
So that would have been third round.
Oh, third round. Okay. All right. I have to look them up.
Cleveland, Jason Casey, you know the Cleveland Monsters? Wow. How about that?
I had a guy, he ran the parking lots, Jimmy Sacco, a friend of mine. Has
Good
nothing
job.
to do with that, but also a name.
All right, Bruins, figure out what's wrong. Right
Get
now,
us
figure
out
out,
of here before
figure out
we
what's
get
wrong. If you guys are watching live, don't move. You're watching on the replay crew. Thank you for being here. We're back tomorrow on a Whale Watch Wednesday with Alex Kane from Sport Trade. Let's see all you guys here. The rest of you get bonus time. They play at the stadium which the Cavs play. They still exist.
Oh, I'm going to have to go to a Cleveland Monsters game. 100%. 100%. I'm working out the whole trip.
Yeah,
to
Big
Cleveland.
Tone. I mean, it's not hockey is. You're right. I mean, you look at all the stats. That Jim Montgomery only lost 41 times in regulation in 184 games and got bounced. Yes, the Bruins have a problem. Okay, the Bruins went and fired a coach. They had a mutiny, and the coach came to Vegas and won the cup the next year. So, like.
Yeah, but that's 2 years going now. I mean, quit living in the past.
No, my point is it doesn't really matter. The Bruins have had a problem internally right now when it comes to head coaching for a while. They've had a lot of problems. So this has been a running thing with Boston that like they blame the head coach, but realistically it probably is the locker room more than it's the head coach. So it doesn't really matter who's coaching the team. The locker room's part of the problem. They need a big transition turnover. And they did for a lot. I mean, you know, you lose your best blue line defenseman. You lost your heart and soul of your franchise. I mean, a lot, and then you lost your backup goaltender that was really, really good. Yeah, see, Ross, this is what everyone in Boston's saying. The players are the problem, not the coach.
It's so, when you really think about it, like it can change so fast in hockey. Like 2 guys leave, 3 guys leave, whatever. And
Bergeron's a big piece.
I mean,
that's
that's what I mean. He's a huge piece, but he's policing the room.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
He's making sure that.
And Marchand's not Bergeron.
Right. Like, and they don't have the other pieces. They don't have, I mean, Bergeron had Marchand. Marchand doesn't have Bergeron.
Well, Chara was there too, right? And you had the best. You had a monster at your blue line that everybody listened to. Nobody, right. When Chara talked, everyone was like, "Ooh!"
Right.
So you don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And
they had the most points in they were the President's Cup trophy team 2 years ago.
Yep. And you had Marchand, who stuck around, took over the captainship, and just things haven't gone the way that they wanted them to. I mean, the roster's been built. A lot of people are very angry at Don Sweeney, saying the roster's been built up and really, not been well maintained. They've brought in different pieces that haven't fit. And then you let you trade Allmark, and then you have a huge contract fight with Swayman. You give him an 8-year deal and he plays like crap. So you had a backup when Swayman was playing poorly. You then would go ahead and you would have Allmark in net and you wouldn't miss a beat. You had the best goalie tandem in the game and they didn't keep it. They broke him up.
Yeah.
And now you're losing.
It's fast. Like it's really fast. And some people will say management is a problem, didn't keep them together and didn't do this. And I mean, when you have good players, it hides a lot of things. And listen, it's happening in Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a game tonight. We didn't really talk about the hockey in a regular part of the show, but Tampa's playing Pittsburgh tonight. Wouldn't normally be a big game. I mean, the Penguins are close to firing their coach too. They got to be. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But I don't know. It happens fast.
Time for better to. All right. I think Purdue is going to keep the game close with Marquette and maybe have a chance to win this game. First true road game for Purdue. So it's a little bit of worry there. But this is a Purdue team that's really well coached under Matt Painter. I watched their game against Alabama. I know it's a home game, but it comes down to 3-point shooting. Marquette's not hitting their threes. Purdue is top 10 in the country right now in 3-point shooting. Purdue hits their threes. Purdue can win the game.
Did you bet against a team that was playing their first road game a couple days ago?
No, it was last night. Gonzaga. I lost. Gonzaga's first road game was last night.
Right,
They covered.
Last week there was another game that we did this.
Alabama. I faded. It was Purdue, Alabama, and I was right because Purdue won the game outright.
The home team did.
Mm-hmm. Purdue won it out. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to say book it. I'll take Marquette.
So yes, no, no, not yes, no, yes.
Right. Yeah, the first road game is a thing.
It is, right. But
yeah,
it wasn't last night for Gonzaga. It wasn't for Gonzaga. It was for Alabama. It wasn't for Gonzaga.
Okay.
I can't wait to watch it. Number's 5. I got 4.5. You can take 5, but I think it's really wild. Penn Nova over 141. Nova's 5-0 to the over. Penn's defense sucks this year.
Bet it, I guess.
They suck.
Penn, like the Ivy League?
Yes. Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, against Villanova tonight.
This is good that those teams play each other. The local team should
Big Five.
play
Well, they
each
do all year. Big Five.
I know.
It's a Big Five matchup. So
they should do that in Pittsburgh. Like Duquesne should play Pitt and West Virginia. They should all play all the time. They don't. I don't know why. Play. People will go.
And then I'm doing a 2-leg money line parlay. Celtics Thunder.
That's probably going to win.
Celtics win. Thunder against the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Cleveland to win.
I think Wemby's out tonight. I don't think he's playing.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was minus 115 last night. I'm not sure what it is now because I'm guessing OKC's number may have exploded if Wembanyama's out. It was 8.5 last night.
Let's see. I'll look in a second. I got 2 bets for you.
Yes, CBW. You definitely. Yeah, any Harry Sinden references, you're going to date yourself. There's very few people in our audience under the age of 40 who know who the fuck Harry Sinden is. I do. Dave does.
Yeah.
But most people will not know who Harry Sinden is.
CBW, we got you right here, bro. You do a great job. But the Harry Sinden reference definitely showed your age. And there's less than 5 people who you say Harry Sinden to, and they have a clue what you're talking about that are watching this show right now. Yeah.
Hockey heads.
This is a bet. This is a bet. I looked at the hockey board. Florida's playing Winnipeg. Best team in the East versus best team in the West as of right now. Winnipeg minus 115. 5.5 is the total. If I say Winnipeg money line, you say bet it or book it.
About it.
Yeah. It's going to be a battle. You want to watch a great playoff type game? I like the over 5.5. So I say bet it. You like that? Bet it or book it.
Oh, I don't know. Number 1 scoring team, number 1 scoring defense team. That's tough. That's a hard one. I don't know. I mean, if I like Winnipeg to win it, I probably like the under.
Okay. Yeah. I like over. And then the other one was the Rangers are at Vancouver, and they're only minus 130. I don't get it. I feel like I'm missing something. The Vancouver's underperforming, blah, 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 blah. The Rangers are going to win that hockey game. Better to book it minus 130.
I don't know. That's hard.
Yeah.
I'd say bet it, but I don't know.
Okay. Those are my 2. When I looked at the hockey board today, I was like, all right, there's a couple interesting things. Nuggets, Anaheim's playing Chicago. Is that interesting? It's interesting because the Blackhawks are minus 175.
Wow.
I thought that was
books are starting to respect the Blackhawks.
Holy crap. I was like, wait a second. What the hell? Did the Anaheim team playing get stuck in Anaheim? Minus 175? All right. I must, my number way lower than that. Minnesota starting to get real respect on the road. Minus 165 at St. Louis.
Got it.
Like we're getting to the points now where you're getting favorites that are getting numbers that you're like, whoa, really? Islanders, Calgary is a tough one, and Edmonton, Ottawa is a tough one.
If you want to follow that trend, hold on. The first period trend that we were talking about a while ago. Let me pull something up quick. Where is that? Come on.
Oh,
There.
jeez.
So it's now 23-11.
What?
Team that gets shut out the next game, first period over. 23-11. Both Edmonton and Ottawa are off shutouts tonight. They play
Oh, jeez. And they play each other?
each other. And the Florida Panthers and the Winnipeg Jets.
First period over.
First period over.
Yeah.
So you want to follow the 23-11 trend. Edmonton, Ottawa, Vancouver, Florida. Sorry, Winnipeg, Florida.
Jeez, I just got a text from my buddy Wrong Side Robbie. You know Wrong Side Robbie.
Yeah.
He said the Ducks are on the road after a big win yesterday, and they have a backup goalie playing. Thank you. Thank you, Wrong Side Robbie. You always got to check the goalies. All of that being said, I can't believe that it's that high.
Goal in the first 10, 25-9 for
the trend.
For the trend. So
what are we going to call that? We should call that like something.
We can't steal it because it's not ours. It's the hockey. It's that hockey guy podcast. It's the Ice Guys podcast, so we can't steal it.
Okay, all right.
So they're the ones who identified it. We're just reiterating or relaying the information.
That's awesome.
So
thank you, Ice Guys.
But I know there's a lot of people making good money betting that every night. Favorite thing about today is what?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't have it yet. Other than the space is really, really interesting. And we had a good call this morning with someone about the space and about things. Boys, if you have any ideas, email the show for possible people that want to work with us or want to be on the show, because we're looking for different ways to grow the show, continue to do the show, because there's a lot of people that aren't doing this type of stuff
anymore.
Yeah. So my favorite thing about today is that we're continuing to explore different opportunities. Tomorrow's Whale Watch Wednesday. We'll have Alex on. I'm confirming another guest.
Oh.
What is that?
I don't know. It's your daughter.
That's my daughter, Kelsey Sherapan. I better be the favorite part of the day. I mean, she called me yesterday. That was the favorite part of my day yesterday. She has not called me yet today, but I didn't even know. Thank you for perfect timing to come in the chat. W's in the chat. Yeah, you're taking dubs. Yeah. You're my favorite thing about today, Kels. I guess something's coming. If she's in the chat watching the show,
okay.
As soon as we're done, my phone's ringing.
Uh-oh.
There's something needs to be approved by Daddy. Something is up right now. Kels, I love you. I'll be waiting for your call. In 5 minutes, I'll call you. That's my favorite thing about today.
Favorite thing about today is in reference to the big city that your daughters are in the shadows of, because any day the Jets are a complete dumpster fire is a good day in my world, and the Jets are an absolute complete dumpster fire. And she said, I need something, but yeah, you're right. Buckle up. So Joe Douglas, there's before I was on the show today, I watched Todd McShay go on a huge rant. It was a riot because he basically said like Joe Douglas is going to be fine. Like Joe Douglas made some questionable decisions, but the drafting of Zach Wilson was really during COVID. So how much did we really know about the quarterback development in college because of the COVID situation that happened? So you can maybe excuse his drafting of Zach Wilson second overall. But overall, he made more good calls than bad calls. And that's a talent evaluator in McShay talking about Joe Douglas. He said, Joe Douglas is going to be fine. The Jets are a fucking mess. The Jets will never, as long as Woody Johnson owns that team, and as long as the Johnson family owns that team, the Jets will never do anything and never go anywhere, which is beautiful. Favorite thing about today is the Jets are a mess. My team could be a mess, but just make sure the Jets are a bigger mess than my team. That's all I care about. I got a quarterback. That's all I know. I got a quarterback. Sunday proved it. I got a quarterback. Meg is a quarterback. I got a guy. I don't have any wide receivers. I have no wide receivers, but I got a guy. I got a quarterback. Pop Douglas doesn't look for the ball. I don't know how you run the biggest route of the game in the biggest drive of the game and you don't look for the ball.
The kids are really enjoying being in New York.
While they're sucking?
Well, the Yankees lost, and now I have my
beautiful.
middle consig daughter, Kelsey, saying the Jets sold so bad, bro. It's a different language that the kids speak. I mean, it's Jets sold so bad, bro. All right, we'll put that on a T-shirt, Kels.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Pop Douglas, man. I love you, dude. But damn it, look for the damn ball. That was a touchdown and a win. That was a house call. That was that was a moment where you look back and go, Drake May's moment. There it is, driving on the field.
There was loft on that ball. It's a touchdown.
He's 5'1". He's a midget. If he's actually with a decent actual like 5'10" to 6'1" wideout, catches the ball, he scores.
Yeah.
Free throw, look up, catch the ball. Awful. We'll watch Wednesdays tomorrow, boys and girls. Hope to see you all back here for another edition of the Bostonian versus the Bookies. Dave, I'm Matt. Back tomorrow, Wednesday. BBB. See you then.
What does she want?